What happens when faith, jealousy, and perseverance collide? This is the powerful story of Hannah and Peninnah, a story of rivalry, prayer, and God's miraculous answer. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any inspiring Bible stories. Stick around till the end to see how God turned Hannah's pain into joy and what we can learn from her unwavering faith. Hannah and Peninnah were both wives of Elkanah, a Levite from the tribe of Ephraim. Hannah was deeply loved by Elkanah, but she was barren and had no children. Peninnah had many children and mocked Hannah because of her inability to conceive. She kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, Peninnah provoked her till she wept and would not eat. Even though Elkanah loved Hannah and tried to comfort her, her deepest desire was to have a child. In ancient Israel, barrenness was seen as a curse, and Peninnah constantly taunted Hannah to make her feel worthless. One year, while visiting the tabernacle at Shiloh, Hannah went to pray in deep anguish. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly, and she made a vow, saying, "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head." Hannah promised to dedicate her son to God if he answered her prayer. She prayed silently, moving her lips but making no sound. Eli, the high priest, saw her and thought she was drunk. "Not so, my lord," Hannah replied. "I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord." Eli then blessed her and said, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." Hannah left in faith, and soon she became pregnant. She gave birth to a son and named him Samuel, which means God has heard. This was a miracle proving that God hears and answers prayers. Once Samuel was weaned, Hannah kept her promise and took him to the tabernacle in Shiloh to serve the Lord. "I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." Samuel grew up in the house of the Lord, under the care of Eli, and later became a great prophet. Because Hannah trusted God, he blessed her even more. The Lord was gracious to Hannah. She gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. Hannah, once barren, became the mother of 5 more children. The story of Hannah and Peninnah is one of faith, endurance, and divine favor. It teaches us that God sees our pain, hears our prayers, and answers in his perfect time. Hannah longed for a child, but for years she remained barren while Peninnah mocked her. It may have seemed like God had forgotten her, but he was preparing something greater than she could imagine. Sometimes the wait is not a punishment, it's preparation for a greater blessing. If you're waiting on God for something, keep trusting. His timing is always perfect. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more incredible Bible stories. And if you love this story, check out our other videos. See you there. Stay blessed.